Welcome to Advocacy In Motion. We are here each week to give a vision and a voice to nonprofit organizations and individuals making a difference in our community. And before I introduce my guest today, I want to say thank you to our presenting sponsor, Niagara. You may know Niagara is the leading manufacturer and distributor of water-saving plumbing products. And today we have something special, and we can even have some fun with plumbing. Yes, it's true, you can have fun with plumbing, because they are sponsoring the Race to the Flush contest. You can go to the Niagara social pages and you will see they have teamed up with George the Plumber. And George the Plumber is going to install the new Niagara Sabre 1.2 gallons per flush toilet, which is really low and really saves money. And all you have to do is guess how long it's going to take George to install that plumbing and install the toilets. So have some fun. Look up George the Plumber social media and you can win a Yukon Solo Stove, which is really cool. It's an outdoor barbecue pit. So go enter in the contest. My guest today, I'm very pleased to introduce Debbie Weinstein. She is the founder and the director of the Aide Society. Welcome. Glad you can join us.
I'm so excited to be here.
This is going to be nice. I got a quote here from your saying. It says, "Our Aides are learning who they are, what they are capable of, and how to make their own mark on the world around them." That is one of your quotes. That's really what sums up what you're about. Tell us a little bit about the Aide Society and how you got involved.
Okay, I do think that quote sums up pretty much what we're involved, what we do, but let me tell you how we got started, okay, and you will see through it. We got started because I had coached gymnastics and run a competitive team program for 30 years, and I was no longer doing that, and I really racked my brain and thought about what could I do to give to the kids that I was giving before, but I was no longer going to do it through gymnastics. And I wanted to be able to give things to the kids in my community like I had done through gymnastics. It was never about the gymnastics. It was about what could I give them that was going to make them into the best version of themselves. So I was, I think, pretty good about finding those things that those girls needed to give them confidence and to just have them walk out of the gym a much more confident, more better self-esteem, better knowledge of how to work for something they wanted, how to really envision what their goals were and go for them. But to do it in a way that was nurturing, it was empowering. I think empowerment is the biggest, I know it's a buzzword these days, but I think it's really important. So I thought, well, what could I do to do this? And I had a friend at my 25th reunion from college and who was telling me about this program she did in Baltimore. It was doing a service project every month for the community that made it easy for them to participate. And I had thought that was a great thing for Dallas. But my skill set and experiences with girls, and I was thinking, what could I do to give those same skills? And I thought, how about if I do a group where the girls do a service project every month and they're learning how to be leaders through planning these service projects, and it just evolved from there. So we got started. I had a meeting with a woman who I had worked with for a very long time. We worked together at the competitive gymnastics program, and she and I met for lunch, and I told her about my idea, and she's like, yes, I'm on board, let's do it. So we thought we would open in the fall. Well, 2 weeks later, the country shut down, the world shut down, and I sat on the internet and I was watching people say, well, what can I do? What can I do to help in the community? What can I do while we're on this lockdown? You know, everybody wanted to do something. So I called her up and I said, hey, Julie, how about if we run an online camp? Because I'd run camp for 30 years. I was well versed in camp. I just, instead of being in a gymnastics gym, let's do it online. And that way, maybe all those kids whose camp were, canceled for the summer, maybe at least we'll give them something to do for a few hours a day. So she and we brought along another girl named Rachel Berkowitz, who has been with me since she was 6 years old. And we created a camp that was going to run for 3 weeks. It was going to be, I think, did we do it? We did it I can't even remember how long we did it, maybe 10 to 2 with a break for lunch, but they could have lunch online too if they wanted, or they could log off for a little bit and come back. And we did it just like you would do a camp. We ran electives. You could pick this, or, there were 3 of us, so you could pick one of 3 electives. We did fashion shows. We did Crips, which was some show where you could show your surroundings. We did games. We did art projects every week. Their parents would come pick up supply bags from my house, and it would have the supplies for the week. And you signed up by the week. Well, we ended up running this 3-week camp for 9 weeks because they begged for it. We had kids in Miami. We had kids in Arizona. We had counselors in New York and Denver. It was amazing what we did and what we were able to pull off in 9 weeks. So as we were getting close to the end, I said to Julie, "Hey, Julie, it's super easy to start this now. We've got a whole group of kids that we've started with, and they're used to being online. Let's open it up and see what happens." So we went ahead and launched it, basically with the people in camp, posted it on a Facebook group, and we started out the first year with 36 kids in Dallas, I think, and 6 kids in Miami. And we ran it for the whole first year online. And that was the start of us. And then the second year we were in person and realized we needed to make changes because it was different than being online. And this was our 3rd year. And that's how we got to where we are today. And so leading back to the quote, I think that, first of all, I think if you give a girl confidence in who they are and what they are, and you give them the space to be in charge and use their own voice safely, I think you're just giving them so much that they're going to use in their life. And I think that's what I have seen through this. And that is what I did in gymnastics, is I believe you have to give kids space to speak their own voice and not overspeak them, and give them a chance to have belief in what they are doing and what they want to do, or their vision, and give them the space to do it. Because what comes out at the end is this most phenomenal kid that you wouldn't believe.
How old are the girls that are in your program? What's the age group?
We started with 3rd through 6th grade because that was pretty much the grade we'd had at camp. And also we thought it was good to just start right in the middle with a little bit older. We now go from 2nd grade till 12th grade, and it's a tiered experience. Like the 2nd and 3rd graders, every year is a little bit more than what you did the year before. The 2nd graders is really a focus on speaking in front of people, creating a presentation, because they have to teach about the project they're going to be doing. And it's learning how to make decisions. If we're making if the service project is to make something for Operation Kindness, so to speak, I might say, do you want to make a dog toy or cat toy as your project? And they'll, so they have to choose, and they have to think about what other people want. So they're having to think outside themselves too. How many do you think your group can make? How many do you think you could make in an hour working on this project? And so they're learning how to start thinking critically about what they're doing. When you get to 4th and 5th grade, you are planning the whole project and actually leading the project. And so now you have to, you've had a couple years of speaking in front of your group. Now you have to start thinking about leading and actually teaching somebody how to do something in front of them, and what is realistic to get done, and what happens if things don't work out the way you think they're going to. What do you do? And then when they hit 6th grade, they start really coming up with the projects on their own. So this was the first year we did that, and I would have to say it was phenomenal what these kids did. Some of these kids, I had one girl who's been with me from the beginning, and she was in 8th grade this year, and she was supposed to be doing a project at Family Gateway, and a week before we were supposed to do it, Kathy called us up and said, "I am so sorry, but we have people living everywhere, and we don't have space to do this project." So Jordan and I got on Zoom, because we do everything on Zoom except our monthly meetings. And Jordan's, we went and researched all the kind of places, where could we put together a project in a week? And we landed on Buckner International because we could just go there and help them do their shoes. And here I'm thinking, we're done. And Jordan says, "Oh no, Debbie, I think we should collect shoes to take with us." I'm like, "We only have a week, Jordan." She's like, "I know, but I think we can do it." I'm like, "Okay," because that's what we're there for, is to say okay and help them make their vision come true. And then she said, I think we can collect $1,000. In a week? Oh yeah, I think it'll happen. I'm like, okay, but you're okay if we don't, right? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I think it's going to be tough, Jordan, but let's go. And P.S., we collected $1,200. And before we went to Buckner, she and I met at Walmart, and we went and bought out their shoe department, and she learned the value of, I can buy $30 sneakers, or I can buy 3 pair of $10 sneakers, to send to these kids all over the world. And we walked in with 2 or 3 humongous bags of shoes.
That is great. So,
Yeah.
so your projects all have a very practical give back to
Yes.
the community
Yes.
or other organizations. And
Yes.
that's really your focus in what these
Yes.
young ladies are learning to do and learning to give back. And
Yes.
that. What are some of the other projects that you guys have worked on?
So my second graders this year painted clay pots and then made flowers out of pipe. Anyway, these cute little pots and things. And then they went to Legacy, which is the Legacy Communities. It's sponsored by the Jewish Federation of Dallas and its subsidiary agency. And they went for the assisted living and gave those to the seniors there. And then they got a tour, because every time we do a delivery, every agency has been amazing and gives us tours and tells us more about what they're doing, which is the most impactful part of the whole process. The same agency, my 7th graders decided they wanted to do a cake decorating and to teach the seniors how to do it. And we had a woman donate her time to come in, and she taught everybody how to decorate the stuff. Not that anybody listened. And the girls helped them. And so we made these cookies. And then we took any cookies that were not wanted by the seniors that were making them, and we went and handed them out in the assisted living and memory care units. So everybody benefited from the project that we did, from the seniors who were engaged. We had seniors in independent living who came and helped us lead the seniors that came that were mostly assisted living. And then we took the leftover cookies and shared them with everybody else. So it was really an all agency project, which is really cool. One of the most amazing thing we've done, and really a testament to growth that I can see in a kid, is I had a girl who just graduated high school, but last year said that she wanted to do a project. At her school, they do a service project, and she wanted it to be with Lemonade Society. And would I help her? And I'm like, absolutely. And by helping, she means I would mentor her. So she put together a camp, and she did everything with my guidance, but this was her. She put it together, and she hired volunteer staff, also in Lemonade Society and outside of it. And we put on a camp last summer for Family Gateway for a week. And it was 4 days it was 2 hours a day, but it was a very long 2 hours. And it was the most phenomenal thing I've ever seen, because Lindsay was in 11th grade, and I had a 9th grader, a 10th grader, and then everybody else was like 6th and 7th graders who came to help. And we ran a camp that they told us was one of the best things their kids had done that summer. So it was phenomenal. We did art projects, we did science experiments, we made ice cream in a bag, we played games. I mean, we tried to do service projects with them that, it was incredible, but it was planned by a kid in 11th grade. And we were going to do it again this summer. One of the girls going into 10th grade who had been there the summer before, and a girl going 8th grade were going to be the directors this year. But Family Gateway's in limbo right now because they're moving to Plano. And so we'll do it next year.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me take a little bit of a break. When we come back, I want to talk about, you mentioned your mentorship programs and some other programs that you have. But I want to say thank you for another one of our sponsors, Piranha Haven, which is this wonderful spiritual gift shop in downtown Richardson. You go in, you'll find free trade merchandise from all over the country. You'll find handmade jewelry, artwork, crystals, incense. And on the 4th Saturday of every month, they hold a psychic fair. And you can go online to piranhahaven.com, check out all the things that they do at the shop, and you can even make reservations for the psychic fair and find out more about what they are doing there. So we want to say thank you to Piranha Haven. And if you see Alex in there, tell her dad said hello. This is a family business. And speaking of family business, I know, Debbie, we were introduced by a good friend of our families, Reagan Fitzgerald. She's a great friend of my daughter's and of Alex, who is, and her mother run the shop, so we've known Reagan forever. So we appreciate that. And like I said, it's all family. So if you see Alex, tell her I said hello. And if you hear the baby, that would be Sky. She's our newborn, Alex's daughter. And so she'll be running that shop soon. So stop by and say hello to the family at Piranha Haven in downtown Richardson. All right. And we do want to thank Reagan for introducing us. That's the way it works. We put a message out saying if you know someone that in nonprofit or make an impact, let us know about it. So we appreciate that.
I think Reagan is a perfect example of what happens when you believe in a girl and where she can get to. She is a kid who has been with me since she was in 4th grade. That's when we met. And she was in line first place to have her kids in this organization when we started it, because she will tell you that she knew what that kind of an environment did for her in her life, and she wanted the same thing for her kids. So, which is a good lead into, let me tell you about how it works. So Aide Society has 3 programs. We have a monthly program, which is for kids in just the general community. Anybody who wants to can be in it, and they're in groups by grade, and they are very small groups, because if the groups are too big, then we don't have enough opportunities for girls to lead, and they like to lead twice a year. And those girls every month will meet, and at every meeting they have a service project that is led by 1 or 2 of the girls in the group. They also do leadership and team building, because they are a team and they have to learn to work together. And there's so much you can learn by some of those team building games. And then leadership every year has a different leadership focus. 2nd graders is all about learning about who they are and building up their self-confidence. 3rd grade is respect. So you have to go outside yourself and start thinking about others, and we build from there. And then the service projects, which are the meat of the organization, is every month 1 or 2 girls in each group are the project leaders, and they have mentoring sessions, which are one-on-one sessions on Zoom or in person if it's after the meeting, where with their mentors in the group. And every group has an adult mentor, and then some groups have a teen mentor. And I'll go to those in a minute. Well, no, I'll tell you now. So the teen mentors, those are girls who are in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, who we are just next year going to have our first teen mentors that have grown up through us. And they are going to be amazing because they've grown up through us, but anybody in the community can apply. And if I feel that they are ready when they are seniors, I will allow them to apply to be an adult mentor. And I don't have room for everybody. I mean, as we grow and have more teen mentors, it might be more competitive, but right now it's basically, I've offered it to the girls I feel that are ready. And this past year, I mean, one of my most amazing, phenomenal adult mentors was somebody who had been a teen mentor the year before. So that's how you can grow through our program from 2nd grade through 12th grade. So at these, the 2nd graders, obviously, with their service projects, are a little bit less involved and more driven from the adult mentor in the group and from our lesson plans. But as I said, once they get older, they're basically creating everything themselves with our guidance. And the goal is that the mentors are not doing this program. They're helping the girls, mentoring the girls as they make decisions about what's going to happen in the group, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, what do we want to do. Every year we've made science projects for Family Gateway. They love them, these little kits. And one year, one of my girls said to me, well, I don't like any of the ideas on the project leader worksheet. Can I go find something else? I'm like, sure. So we go up, we pull up Pinterest, we pull up Google, and we spent probably 45 minutes till she found the project she felt that the kids at Family Gateway would really enjoy, different from what we had listed. And that's what we're about. If you have an idea, let's go for it. Let's figure it out. You know what? You think you can raise $1,000 in a week? Let's go for it. And that's where that empowerment comes from. We aren't doing it for these girls. They're doing it for themselves. They're figuring out how to make happen what they want to happen. And so that's the monthly program, and it's great. And it's really, I I can't speak enough about what I've seen, the growth in the girls that have been with me from the beginning. Even in a year, you can tell a difference. It's just incredible. And I had one girl actually yesterday, her mom sent me a video. She won the leadership award out of her dance company of like 100 girls. And her mom's like, thank you. Because she knew, because this kid's got a lot to offer, and she is being given the tools to take what's in her head and make it happen in real life.
You mentioned leadership, which is obviously very important, and the fact that your girls mentor other girls.
Yes.
It's a great path as they grow, apparently. You mentioned camps. Physically, where does all this take place?
Okay,
how does this work?
So our monthly program takes place in people's homes, or if we're on site, like when we went to Buckner, we were on site. When we've been at Legacy, we've been on site. We've gone to Empowering the Masses, and a group of 6th graders and I on a very cold the weekend before Thanksgiving, and went and helped them serve. They served, I think, for three or 4 hours. They had lines of cars coming through, and we were helping them with that. We'll Go Anywhere. I had a group that worked at a pet kennel a couple weeks ago and cleaned windows and cleaned everything up for them and helped clean cages or whatever. The girls will do anything. They come up with ideas, or they take ideas that we've put in place. It depends on their age, and they can. We've had groups that went with Green Space Dallas and got to canoe on the Trinity Riverways to help clean the shoreline. That was a real fun one.
That's a necessary project. On
Yeah,
the
exactly,
River.
exactly. I mean, it's amazing what you can learn, and so these kids are learning every time they go and do something. They're seeing what our city needs. They're seeing why they need to make a difference. They're seeing so many things. I mean, when we did that camp at Family Gateway, working with the homeless kids was so interesting for me, but for these kids, what they observed. I mean, I had 6th graders who sat and worked with 6th graders and could see that they were kids just like them, but they could also see where those kids were different from them. And it was really eye-opening for all of us. So you just don't know. But that's the monthly program. The camp that we run 2 weeks of camp in the summer, 3 if we do something at Family Gateway. And we do that at Levine Academy, who so graciously gives us the space. And we do a service project every day. And the camp, basically, I have run it, but I'm going to have one of my girls going into 10th grade. She is running my next session of it. She is coming up with the schedule. She's determining the projects. And once girls are going into 7th grade, they're allowed to CIT. So our first session that we had this summer, I had 4 CITs and my girl going into 10th grade. And the girl going into 10th grade, she was the director. I mean, I let her run as much as she could. And then the 4 girls ran everything. I just sat back and did what I had to do and filled in where they needed me to, because I think 6th and 7th grade and 8th grade girls are the most committed girls you'll ever find, because they're so excited to have the opportunity to be in that position when nobody else gives them that opportunity, that they rise to the occasion, and they're phenomenal. Like, I had one girl last year who was a CIT who she was pretty quiet and pretty shy. And I tell these girls, you have to come prepared with 4 or 5 games, that if there is a lull or somebody who doesn't want to do an activity, that you step right in and you start playing a game and keeping these kids engaged, because that's our goal. And all of a sudden, these kids came in, they didn't want to be outside, they were hot and sweaty, and they're sitting down. And I went to go turn around to find somebody to do something with them. And this girl, who I was so shocked, walked right in and had already started. I'm like, wow, you go. I mean, that's exactly what I want. I want them to learn how to not be scared. If you've got something in your head, don't let your brain hold you back. Go for it. And that's what I see. And I think the CIT program is the best part of the camp. But, on my side,
And we'll come back to this a couple more times. Tell us how people can get in touch with you, how they can help, how they can donate. I know that all of our nonprofit organizations that we visit with on this show have to have funding.
Yes.
And so tell us how we can help.
Okay, well, the biggest thing I need is somebody to help me run this organization, because it is bigger than just one person. So the more funds I raise, the more I can afford to pay somebody to come in and help. Our fundraising link is on our website, right up at the top. We also run a campaign on North Texas Giving Day, so that We aren't asking people for money all year long. We do it one time a year. And every penny that comes in will go towards programming or will go towards staff. We do charge the monthly girls a fee to be in it. We haven't discussed the school program yet, but that is a no charge for the kids. So any money that comes in helps fund that program also, which is really an amazing program. And really that's it. We don't do a lot of fundraising other than that. I mean, we're quietly building up a donor base, and we've only been in existence for 3 years, so but every little bit helps. Right now, we are an all volunteer run organization, with the exception of a couple people that do. I have an admin who does get paid, and somebody who helps with the schools. And other than that, it's all volunteer.
And the website again?
The website is www.lemonadesociety.org, and that's LEMONAIDE.
Okay. How'd you come up with the name? I kind of like that. I like
Okay.
that.
So when Julie and I were sitting discussing having this camp online, and we thought, well, we got to give it a name, and we just, sat and thought. And I am this crazy out of the box thinker, and I love plays on words and everything. And I was doing my laundry one day, and I called her up. I'm like, Camp Lemonade. And we're like, because when you have a summer of lemons, you make lemonade, right?
Very good.
And so then it just flowed from there. What are we going to call this organization? And we thought we'd call it Girls Lead. And after I looked it up, I realized there's tons of Girls Leads. And I thought, well, why can't I just call it Lemonade Society? And that's how we became Lemonade Society.
Very good. I like that. Tell me what we've missed. We've had some notes here. We've talked about some things we visited earlier. Tell me what we've missed, or what you want people to know that we haven't talked about.
I think we should talk about the school program.
Okay.
Because the school program is, honestly, I think it is the hidden gem of what we have created. The school program is an after-school program in schools in disadvantaged areas, Title I schools, where the girls meet once a week, and they have the same mission as the monthly program, but it's done in a way that appeals to them and works with them within the context of where they are. So their day, we did 2 schools this year, and one school, the girls had an hour and a half, and the other school, they had 45 minutes. So we had to vary it, but the intention would be to have an afternoon snack that is healthy, that they learn different ways to make healthy food and why nutrition is important. And then they would do a leadership. Sometimes that leadership is how to have self-confidence, or, different things you would think of as leadership. And sometimes it's self-care. You should be bathing every day. When you're old enough, you should be wearing deodorant. And we provide them with a little kit with all these things that we talk about in it so that they can use them. So there's lots of different things that can encompass. Sometimes it's how to do a slideshow, how to put together a slide on Google Docs so that you can make a presentation. And then they do service projects. So in the fall, they do service projects on their campus where maybe it's reading to kids in aftercare, or think about it. A lot of these kids, some of them don't have all the same skills because they've moved around a lot or what have you. And now they're reading to kindergartners, but they're the better reader. And so that builds them up a little bit, whereas sometimes they don't always feel so confident in that area. Sometimes they make some kind of a treat for the staff to thank them for everything they do. At our school last year, they started doing, I don't remember what they called it, but it was basically teachers could request girls to come in and help them after school, and they would spend 45 minutes out of their after school time, meeting time, going in and helping teachers, whether it was sorting folders or cleaning up the room or whatever. And they loved that, because now they're getting to know their teachers on a different level than they did before. Anyway, so there's lots of different things. In the spring, we divide them up into groups, and they have to come up with a service project. And so first they find the agency they want to help, and then they figure out what the service project is going to be. Then they have to present it to the group, and they do the service project that week. So every week they would have a presentation and a service project. So they were also getting to do similar things to the monthly girls, but more on a way that works for them. And after the first year, some of the comments we got back was, she's more engaged in class now. She is more empathetic to her fellow students. she has really gained in confidence over the course of the year. And I can tell you, I saw it. I went at the beginning of the year, and these girls talk to me, and they look at me like this and, kind of talk in this little quiet voice. And by the end of the year, they're like, "Hey, Miss Debbie, how are you?" And they're running up and they're giving me hugs and they're telling me about their projects, and I'm watching them present, and they're doing it with confidence. I mean, they're not perfectly confident, every single one of them, but the change that you see is just phenomenal. And I luckily had a couple of the girls I got to see 2 years in a row, because one of the schools is very transient. And just to see them, you could see they had more confidence. They'd been in it longer, and it was just beautiful. And I think that school program is definitely something. There's not a lot of programs out there that I have seen that really start empowering girls in elementary school. They wait until they're in high school, and by then I think it's too late. I think you've got to start when they're young and they're pliable and they still want to please you, and they're sponges.
I think that's great. And I know that your reward is going to be seeing these girls as young adults giving back to society in roles of leadership and helping others through life. And I know that's coming for this. It's a great organization. And we certainly appreciate you being here with us today.
Thank you.
Tell us one more time, let's not forget, how to get in touch with you, how you can donate or volunteer or help.
Okay, everything is on our website, www.lemonadesociety.org. Remember, it's LEMONAIDE. And you can contact me through the contact. You can donate through the form on the page. You can sign your child up. Or apply your child, I should say that, because we have limited space every year because we are dependent on adult mentors. If you are so willing, adult mentors is the hardest thing to find and the most important part of our organization. If you are willing, or you know somebody who would be a great adult mentor, please, please, please reach out, because that is by far the most important part of this, because that adult mentors are the people that are working one-on-one with these girls and empowering them. And so we need great adult mentors. If you have a daughter who's in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, she can apply to be a teen mentor on the form. And by the way, the application for Lemonades, which are the 2nd through right now 10th graders, is partially an adult-driven application, but the girls have to also fill out part of the application on their own, because we are all about empowering girls, and we want them to be responsible for themselves.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us. And I want to thank our sponsors, Piranha Haven and for Niagara Conservation. And check out George the Plumber and see if you can win that Yukon Solo stove. And just by guessing how long it's going to take him to install the new Niagara plumbing. So thank you, Debbie Weinstein, for being with us. And we'll see you. I'm sure we'll see some of your Lemonade
I hope
girls
so.
Here on the show in the future.
I hope
Good.
so.
Thank you.